watching. You are watching.
You're watching. You guys are watching.
You're watching Soulful Discussion.
So hi, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
And so how did our paths just cross right now? I know it's extremely random, but let everybody know how our paths crossed.
I was waiting outside of Target, waiting for my friend to pick me up. He just literally asked me if I wanted to do an interview.
Absolutely. And I was actually driving by, so for everybody knows, I was getting ready to exit the parking lot, and I happened to see her, and I was like, hey, would you mind doing an interview? And she was really cool about it, so I appreciate that. In terms of what I asked you to do, in terms of the interview, what it's going to be about, what did I tell you it was going to be about?
Feet.
There's two other things.
Reflexology. And health, mental health?
Yeah. Good job. And so in terms of mental health, are there any topics that you research and follow closely that you kind of...
I follow a lot of different pages on Instagram, for sure. Just for,
like affirmations and things like that have to do with mental health?
Just a lot of, mainly the ones that I follow are mainly focused around having like vulnerable conversations, deep conversations, and a lot of taboo ones too.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what about, so reflexology, you have no idea what it's about. Cool, so there'll be some cool information for you, so let's jump into these questions. Okay. What's something you like that other people might find to be weird? I'm using the term weird for a reason. It could just be a hobby you have that might be strange. Or let me know if you need any examples or anything.
I don't know, or it might be common. I tend to go to the beach like before 8.
Oh.
And then by myself, like I tell people want to come with me, and I tell them specifically that I don't want them to come with me.
Okay.
And I literally just like go maybe once a week, and then I have my tea with me, I have my earphones with me, and I literally just sit there,
vibe out,
watch the surfers. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, man.
It's really therapeutic. I recommend
That's sweet, man. That's sweet. Cool. Has anyone ever made you feel insecure about your body or body part before?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you still deal with, or do you kind of have a control over it now?
I feel like it's like never ending. Like even if you, I feel like I've worked through a lot of them, but I feel like it's a constant
thing.
Constant
society
effort.
And things like that. Right?
Yeah.
So how did you get to a point to where maybe it's not as hard on you to where you can cope with it and still like manage to get by?
That's funny that you asked me that, because I was trying to figure that out a few days ago.
Oh really?
Because I've realized over the years, my confidence has grown and gotten better, thankfully.
Yeah. Maybe it's just age. Like as you get older, you become more confident because you start to realize like
it doesn't matter.
The things that are different about you make you you.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe it's maybe some other things too, but that's what I usually find a lot. Like when you get older,
you care less.
You care less
about the opinions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think definitely like my friends, like the people that I have around me, the support system,
good support group.
Having those vulnerable conversations of like this is going on, and then kind of people bring you back into reality of like maybe this isn't. I'm totally validating the way you feel, but like maybe this isn't it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And me being like, all right.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. If there was one thing you could change, right? So somebody just gave you the power to change whatever you want. It doesn't have to be physical. What would it be? What would you change about yourself?
Oh, about myself.
Yeah. That's a good question. These are great questions.
They are.
Absolutely.
I'm probably gonna go home and like.
Yeah, because you'll think about it again.
Yeah.
You might give me one answer, but you might go home and be like, oh, actually, I might want to change this.
Yeah. I think sometimes the way I react to things, not that I externally, not that I overreact, but I think sometimes I can take things too personally, and it's really like then I end up like thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
So that maybe. Yeah.
So it's interesting because like the mental health subject I'm going to talk about is like it has to deal with like depression and anxiety.
Okay.
And like living in the moment, so like sometimes overthinking situations, so that might be helpful for you.
Yes.
Let's get to these questions right here. Let's see how you feel about this. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
My feet.
Yep.
This is so funny because men's toes personally for me, it's like a known thing in my friend group. But feet, I'm very thankful for mine. I live with a physical disability, so I am just very blessed, very thankful to have the ability to walk, run, do as much as I can.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Well, because and I ask this, and a lot of people that I talk with about this, they don't realize like just how important like your feet are. It's the foundation of who you are, right? Like it helps you stand up.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of people like overlook that area.
For sure.
And I think too, like I always remember this parable when I think about this when I ask about a man who was like complaining about not having shoes. He looked over and saw the man that didn't have feet. So like, kind of puts things in the context of like being grateful for the things that we do have, even though it may be crazy, right? Have you ever received any compliments before about your feet? Anybody ever said you have nice feet?
Yeah.
Men, women?
Both. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how did compliments from men make you feel about that?
I thought they were like interestingly funny, just because they were really unexpected, and I was just like, I just didn't expect it, so I was just like, okay, like thank you.
Yeah. So did you just get a compliment alone, or did it come with? Because sometimes I get women who say like they get compliments, but then like they say something after the compliment. Was it just a compliment, like hey, you have nice feet, and they moved on, or was it more than that?
They definitely tried to keep the conversation going.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So now, in terms of compliments you receive from men and women, and not just about your food, but just in general, is there a difference in how you feel about receiving those compliments from the two parties? Like, do you prefer one over the other?
I don't think I prefer one over the other. I just always think there's intention with guys.
Yeah, and so that's why I asked the question. So I got this from a woman I interviewed before. She mentioned that a lot of times women are taught from like a young age to kind of hate on and dislike other girls, especially through society, right?
Right, yeah.
And so a lot of times when you become older and you receive compliments from other women, it's held at a higher regard, seems more sincere, as opposed to the compliments sometimes you can get from men, where a lot of times they're just complimenting you because they want something in return.
Right,
Is that accurate?
Right.
You think that's accurate?
To some extent, yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. That's great to hear that. I mean, it's great, but it's also bad too, because I hate hearing that like that's what women experience a lot. It's like, but I'm trying to get the message like pulled across to my male audience like, to work on that. If you just started dating someone, right? When is the appropriate time for you two to talk about like the things you might be into?
What do you mean into?
Like just in terms of an intimate setting, like when's the time you should talk about that?
Like a specific time frame?
Yeah. So like a lot of the women I interview, I get different answers, so I like to get like what the response is because everybody's different, right?
Yeah, I think as soon as you're comfortable enough to start getting physical, then conversation should be had. Not only because if you're already comfortable enough to go into those type of situations, then you might as well just, I don't know, go all about it, like in deep with emotions and everything.
Now let me ask this: does it depend on like the person? Like it's like every situation can be different. Like you might have more chemistry with one person than you do with another.
For sure.
So yeah, okay. So it is about that. Cool. What would your thoughts be on if you started dating somebody who was into feet? Like, how would you feel? Would that be something you're for? Would you be like opposed to it?
This is so
funny. Would you like try to explore it? Like, what's your thoughts?
I'm genuinely known in my friend group to be like, guys' feet in sandals are like not.
Oh no, we're not talking guys, but we're talking about women.
Or like, women, or but just toes in general, like.
Really?
Yeah. So like.
Wow.
I think in an intimate perspective.
Yeah, because we're saying he's into your feet. He's not into like.
Oh right. No, I think in that sense, like I'd be alright with it. It would be something
you could explore.
Yeah. Okay. But I just think I think the fact that we're having this conversation about feet is funny because of my. Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's always interesting. So, because a lot of times when I'm doing this, I tell people like I approach women. Like this is the whole point of my channel to get women's reactions. And I've had a couple people like, why don't you ask guys? And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable talking to guys. First of all, I don't like guys' feet. I think just like you do. Like I feel like guys should keep their feet covered. But I don't know. Everybody's different about it. It is what it is. But
no offense to them.
Yeah, absolutely. No offense to guys or whatever. But yeah. How often do you get pedicures?
Like every 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever heard of medical pedicures before?
No.
Okay. So it's like when you go see a podiatrist.
Okay.
And it's a specialist on feet. Like they basically take a look at your nails to make sure they're growing correctly.
Okay.
They take a look at to make sure you don't have fungus or dead skin.
Cool. Okay.
Take a look at your toe alignment to make sure it's correct, and they do all the work there. And so, yeah, you should go see a specialist like that every 3 months or so.
Okay.
Just to keep the upkeep on your body, because what a lot of podiatrists say is that they get people that come to them too late, like later on in life, like you already got problems and stuff, and it's not much they can do for you at that point. So good to go. So they don't do cosmetic stuff; it's just all
medical.
From the medical,
health,
and they're more clean too. So like if you're somebody who's had problems with like going to places where you sometimes can pick up fungus and stuff, better to go to them than have them like trim your nails and stuff.
That's cool.
What did you think about that? Would you try that? Or?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Cool.
Yeah,
you should look it up. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
How many wear open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops, things like that?
How often?
Yeah. Does it depend on weather, like whether you're going out, like where you're going, things like that?
Where I'm going, weather, but it's California, so
absolutely. So we're like around 70-degree temperatures and things like that.
Yeah.
And how often do you go barefoot?
I'm barefoot at home. I'm barefoot all the time. It's just more comfortable. Not outside though.
Have you ever heard of grounding and earthing?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it? Well, I mean, you said you go to the beach. So you probably do that while you're
I very much believe in that, yeah.
Cool. You know that's a part of reflexology.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a small portion of, so like people when they do that, they feel like they get the energy back through the earth. Yeah. But it like runs through the pressure points you have in your feet and stuff and like goes through your whole body.
Oh, that's
cool. So I'm going to get to that when we get to the reflexology portion, okay? And was that was your friend?
Yeah.
So we just a few minutes more. And so can we see what your feet look like up close?
I have my shoes on.
Okay, how about one? Can we see one? No? Can't see one. Okay. And it's because of the setting, like you can't really do that right now. Your friend's waiting for you, right? Cool.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. And let me talk to you about the mental health and we get into reflexology. Okay. So the mental health, why I got started with this. Have you ever heard of DBT before?
No.
Okay, so it's dialectical behavioral therapy.
Okay.
So it's for people who suffer from anxiety, depression.
Okay.
They fail to like live in the moment, like they overthink situations they're presented with. So let's say, for example, you have a fear of approaching strangers, right?
Okay.
Therapists would prescribe for you to go out and approach strangers. Okay. Exposure therapy. Get yourself used to
like behavior therapy?
Yeah, exactly. So because it's called dialectical behavioral therapy. So it's all about you getting used to like being uncomfortable, and when you feel uncomfortable, to cope with it, do a self-assessment and ask yourself, what's the worst that's going to happen in this situation, right? Okay. So you're talking to yourself, you're internalizing, you want to find out, what am I feeling? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Okay. And if you don't come up with anything that's like a threat to your life or to your safety, they want you to do the opposite of what you're feeling. So if you're feeling like withdrawing, proceed. Because you can experience like good events, good moments. Right. And the whole thing is just to live with the outcome. Like if it's good or bad, at least you
moving
try.
Forward.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I'm
DBT,
for it.
Right? Because it could be helpful,
it's
right?
It's really cool. Yeah. I think a lot of the times your fear prevents you. Like your fear creates thoughts that might not even be real. And I think when you actually go through with them, you kind of see like, oh, it's not that bad, or like, oh, I can do it this way.
Yeah. I spoke to a therapist and she was telling me that like DBT is kind of like you thinking about like the negativity, having evidence. Because like when you don't have evidence of what it is that you're thinking about that's negative, that's when it's exactly. That's when you're taking it too far. So let's talk about reflexology now.
Okay.
All right. Reflexology deals with the different pressure points you have in your hands and feet. You have like tons of pressure points and nerve endings that lead back to other parts of your body. Okay. So through massage, acupuncture, acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension like throughout your body. So I don't know if you ever deal with migraines or anything like that. Let's say you were sick, right? You were congested. It's actually a portion of your foot that you can massage to like alleviate some of that congestion you're feeling. Very cool. And those areas are called zones. So just different zones like do different things throughout your body. What are your thoughts about that?
Very cool. Yeah, I've heard about that a little bit. Yeah.
Not in depth though.
No, I had no idea what the name was or anything of it was, but yeah, I've heard about some of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. And so let's wrap up the interview now. I know your friends waiting. In terms of my approach, when I asked you to do the interview, was it good? Was it bad? I feel like I can work on something. It's cool? Okay.
Yeah, you seem like someone I would trust, so.
Absolutely, appreciate you. In terms of the interview from start to finish, did you see how everything was going in a line? Did it make sense to you, and did you learn anything new from the information I provided?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I felt like it was smooth. I understood where you were going.
Cool.
And I learned, so I'll look it up.
Yeah, absolutely, because it could be helpful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll have you do, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that you might have learned, some wise words somebody might have told you that can be helpful to people who watch my channel.
There's like what is it? It's like a quote that says, I don't know if it's a quote. Basically, the idea is like if it doesn't stress you more, if it doesn't, it's not gonna affect you for more than 5 years or something like that. Yeah. Don't let it stress you for more than 5 minutes.
I like that. So if
it's not gonna affect you. In 5 years. If it's not gonna affect you in 5 years, then don't worry about it. Past 5 minutes.
Really cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate you doing the interview, and we hope that you have a great one. Okay.
Oh, you too. Thank you.